Welcome to Ilagan Whiteboard Friday, where we look at complex legal and compliance issues in a simple to do way. This series is brought to you by Ilagan, your partner and provider of end-to-end business services.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Ilagan Whiteboard Friday. This is Vikas from the Ilagan team, and I have with me today Mr. Naeem Zafar. He is the president and CEO of BitzerMobile and also a lecturer at Haas School of Business at UC Berkeley. Naeem.
Hi, how are you, Vikas?
Good. So thanks for joining the Whiteboard Friday. Let's start with what is entrepreneurship?
That's a good question because a lot of people think entrepreneurship is like starting your own business. The fact is, entrepreneurship is a state of mind. It's ability to find opportunities and make profit on them even when you don't have the resources. So this is a different way of thinking about it. And that's entrepreneurship. And you can do that inside a big company, inside a small company. A lot of I'm doing a 7th startup now. None of these I was the one who came up with the idea. I joined a small team in some role and we did amazing things. So that's entrepreneurship. It's not necessarily you have to start a business to be an entrepreneur.
No, so do you need to how does one know if they can be an entrepreneur? Does it require particular skills or?
It requires a certain mindset. I usually ask some people, what's driving them? What does life mean to them? What do they want to accomplish? Entrepreneurs are really very passionate people. They're driven by something larger than just able to make money. They want to change something, fix something, change the world. There's some chip on their shoulder which is driving them, and that's important because it's such a long and hard journey that you have to have that passion to take you through.
And there are a lot of ups and downs. So I've seen you talk about family values and
Yeah, so these are some of the obvious ones. You have perseverance, you have ability to sell. But what's not so obvious is, do you have conviction? Or every time you talk to some people, you end up changing your mind. If you end up changing your mind too often, you're going to drive people crazy. You may not be a good entrepreneur. So people having conviction is important. Again, able to make decisions with less than perfect information. I call it living in the 40 to 70 zone, that you often don't have information more than 70%, but you should have to make a decision, but you can still make a decision. So that ability to go by your gut is unique. That's what defines an entrepreneur.
Okay. So let's talk about what a lot of professionals are out there. They were still working for somebody else. They want to start a company. When do they know that they have the right idea and this is the time for them to go ahead and start something?
So I usually tell people to do a homework, and you have to think through 7 aspects to know if you're ready for it, it's the right thing for you. So in my book, 7 Steps to a Successful Startup, I've walked them down through 7 steps. But they're kind of common sense steps. For example, step number one is, are you really an entrepreneur? Do you have the characteristics and quality to start that down the journey? Second is, what is the unmet need which you have identified? Why is it unmet? And I usually ask people to describe the startup with 2 sentences. What problem do you solve? And who has this problem? Because the clarity which comes by answering these 2 questions is very important. Who has this problem? Is that, just saying, like, you want to start a business which improves your math score, online business. Who has this problem? Well, all students. Well, that's too simple. But what kind of students? Are these high school students or elementary school or college?
Create a better targeted market segment.
And keep going deeper into that.
Okay.
Like, is it the rich kids or the not so rich kids? Kids which parents don't speak math? Maybe, or parents who do. More, once you can define that, the people who has the problem are rich kids with immigrant parents who are trying to apply to Ivy League or top school. Then you know where to find them and how to get to them. So that clarity is important.
Now, is this, how do you just sit down and just think, I think that this guy is going to be the right customer for us?
You do some thinking and come up with a list, but then you have to do market validation. So the whole thing about market research. So you try to do online surveys, you try to read reports, you try to talk to potential users. I forbid people to start a company unless they have spoken to at least 5 people who are likely to be their customers. And ask open-ended questions. What is their pain? Why are they looking for a solution? Where do they look for a solution? Who makes the decision? At what price is a no-brainer? At what price is no matter, you cannot buy it. There's a bunch of data you need before you can start justifying your thing. The next thing is then to figure out a business model.
Yeah.
How will you make money? Next thing is, who else does this? Can you have a differentiated positioning?
Is there a way people can validate that they're talking to customers, is finding out, but can they also validate that the business model makes sense?
Business
so
model
what tricks or what techniques can they use to find out, or how can they be a little bit more certain?
So in my book about market research on a shoestring, how to validate your big idea for under $100, I go through several techniques how to do that. One of the techniques is that you actually create a Google AdWord campaign and see how many people click on that thing which you were planning to make or sell. If nobody's clicking on it, why would they click on it once you have made it?
So internet has made it really simple for us to do the market research.
And you're clicking on it by seeing how many people click, what the conversion rate, and then you can test different pricing and see. So there are many techniques are given how you can validate your idea before you launch your first business. You can doing all this research. Typically, it takes 3 to 6 months. But you need a team. You need 1 or 2 other people who are as passionate about your idea as you are. Otherwise, it's a very hard journey to do alone.
Okay. So you were continuing on the 7 steps.
So basically, it's are you an entrepreneur? Is there an unmet need? Is it big enough to be worth your while? Is there a business model which is scalable? Can you have differentiated positioning? Is it, can you do it different than how other people do it? Do you have the right team? And why now? So these are the 7 questions you have to ask. If you can answer them, then you are pretty certain that you have a good idea.
So by the way, you can read his book. I've read his book. It's pretty good. It's the 7 Steps to Successful Startup. Go to naeemzafar.com and you can find out more details about it.